Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Scott's Quick Cash Class. We're glad you joined us today and we got a good one for you. We're going to talk about how public school and other school education systems have failed you and our youth of America. And when I was younger, it failed me too. That's why I'm here, trying to help you guys out, trying to help myself out. We're talking about how they taught us zero financially before you even graduated, right? A lot of us, if you're 18, you just graduated, this is probably fresh in your mind. You can't remember taking a personal finance class. I know whenever I went to school, the closest thing we had, I believe, was accounting. And it basically, taught you what a debit and a credit was and how to balance a checkbook. But that doesn't teach you actually about finance. And so we're going to try to give you guys a couple points today, some things I've learned that hopefully you guys can use and don't fall into the same trap that a lot of people fall into and not find out about finances till their later 30s, 40s, 50s, and sometimes people never find out about them, and that's definitely sad. So we're going to talk about 3 different statistics. So only 17 states require a personal finance class for high school graduation. So that's good that at least 1/3 of our country it has some sort of curriculum around that. But that means there's 33 other states, and obviously some territories that don't have anything on there. And that's not, the classes is only good as the person who's teaching it. And, if they're going off of a curriculum book, they might not be giving you the right information. Next stat, over 60% of Americans can't pass a basic financial literacy test. And that's really scary because when you think about all the different jobs out there and all the training and stuff that goes into that, it doesn't matter if you're a garbage man, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a professional athlete, or you work in a tech lab, whatever. It doesn't matter because everyone has to touch finances. Very few people in this world can make so much money that they never have to worry about any finances, right? And generally speaking, the people that make that kind of money, they're very dialed into their finances. So it's kind of an oxymoron, right? They don't have to worry about it. However, those people are the ones that tend to focus the most on it, right? So what can we do to not let ourselves fall into that trap, right? So I remember when I graduated from high school, I was all gung-ho. I got to go out to the Olympic Training Center. That's for another story. And I took college out there and I was at the training center. And I remember, my school, I was like, I don't know really anything about credit cards. I don't know anything about investing. I don't know anything about how to even buy a car or purchase a house, how to save for my future, what's a 401k. And I had to really start doing some searching. And this was, we had internet back then, but it wasn't set up the way it is now. You had to dig a lot harder to find quality information. A library, going there and getting books and things was definitely much more popular than what it is now to find information. But I really started digging, and I would talk to anybody I could to find out information because I knew wealthy people or people that were financially set and were in control of their own destiny. I knew they weren't working 9-to-5 jobs. And so that kind of sparked my interest and began my career of a lifelong studying finance and getting more educated. I took a few classes in college, and I did have a professor in my economics class, and I took a few classes from him, and he really started, because he talked about the overall implications of being financially illiterate and some different financial topics like compounding interest. And so that really got my sparks going. I had some conversation with him and he got me connected with some people, and 25 years later, here I am. But the point is, I had to go research and find that stuff. They're not giving it to you. And so my encouragement to you is, take your own journey and go. And so here's 3 actionable items that you guys can do. Read one beginner-friendly finance book, and beginner-friendly is kind of a term, like, depending how far of a beginner. If you've never picked up a finance book, a good one is Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money. Those are good beginner books. If you have a little bit more experience, then definitely step that up. But take actions. Grab a book, whether it's an audio book or an actual hard copy book. Take a book and start reading. Second thing is share one financial lesson with someone younger than you this week. And if you've never been across this phenomenon before, it's not really a secret, but a lot of people don't necessarily realize it. Whenever you teach something to someone, you view the material differently, and it ingrains into your brain differently. It sticks more, and it's more tangible and real. So if you take what you learn and you talk to somebody, and it says younger, but someone who's less knowledgeable than you, if you share that piece of information with them, it's going to be more tangible to you. So I encourage you to do that. And then one last thing, write down 3 money concepts you wish they had taught you in school, and then start learning them now. So there's all kinds of resources out there. I'm a resource. There's a lot of other resources online. Find some good financial advice, and you always want to double check. Everything I say on here is my opinion and things that have worked for me. Double check me. Go find someone else, Dave Ramsey, or someone else that you trust, and double check what I'm saying. And if you don't agree with it, you at least have a counter viewpoint that hopefully you can understand. So I challenge you to do that, and then we're gonna leave you with question of the day, tip of the day. So question of the day is, if you could redesign your high school curriculum, what money topic would you make mandatory? For me, if I were to do that, I would probably say it would either be investing, compounding interest, and how that works, or debt and how debt actually works, good debt and bad debt. I think those are 2 very powerful forces, but that's what I would do. And then tip of the day, don't wait to be taught. Go get what school never taught you. Self-education is a new curriculum, right? I can tell you this, probably 85% of the stuff I learned was me going out there. The other 15%, would be from people bringing that knowledge to me. But I've always been a very curious fellow, and so I've always wanted to know how things work, especially in the financial world. So hopefully you learned something new today. Remember, every day I'm bringing you 5 to 7 minute podcasts, help you with your financial education and my financial education as well. If you have any questions, leave them down at the bottom. Remember, I'm never going to ask you to buy anything, never going to try to sell you anything. Always here to help. Till next time.